All right, so this is my review of Maggie Lin from the brand Snap. Uh, she comes from a show called Balala the Fairies. I think it's a Chinese series, and if anyone watches it like I did, you'd know this character is well known for her bloodlust, uh, thirst for rampage, and her endless worship of corn. So I think the 40K tie-in is really cool. Very unique show, and definitely check it out. So definitely worth a watch. Anyway, so this figure is from a company called Snap, and it's a Chinese company, I think. And this is really their only lineup. So I think it's just this figure, and I think maybe one or two others. So fairly new company, definitely obscure too. But let's get right into the review. So I picked this up on Gundam for $70, and I think she's in stock right now. So if you're interested in this figure, definitely get her. I got mine on pre-order, so it came with a pre-order bonus, which is essentially just kind of glittery eyes, which she has on her right now. Like, they call it crystal eyes. So if you didn't get that, I'm pretty sure that's out now. Like, you can't get that anymore, but the figure itself is still available. All right, so let's get right into the review, and let's start with the appeal, right? So let me just get her off the stand, and we'll take a closer look. So right away, let me just get the camera to focus. Yeah, so the big selling point here is kind of the crystallized she came with as a pre-order bonus, which is really cool. And they really do kind of really pop out, so that looks really nice. So that's really cool. And actually, let me just get this kind of staff thing out of her hand. Talk about that later. We'll talk about that ponytail too. Okay, so she looks great, just at a first glance, very clean. The decals are very sharp on her. The blues are just gorgeous, honestly. It's like a nice sapphire blue. Very clean paint throughout. The decals up and down, very clean, no kind of bleeding or anything like that. So it looks great in my opinion. Yeah, so no real complaints. I'd say 5 out of 5. I like the aesthetic of it. Very blue throughout, that's always cool. And yeah, no complaints. I'd say 5 out of 5 very easily for aesthetics. And now, this is where we run into some problems when we talk about just kind of like the articulation and kind of build quality here. So she is a solid figure, I'll say that right away. So you are going to have some annoyances with how she articulates, and let's get into that actually. Oh, but before we do that, I actually almost forgot. Let's just get a quick measurement on her and tell you how much she weighs too. So she's definitely a little bit on the larger side. So she's around 6 3/4 inches. So she's almost 7 inches. So be aware of that. And I'll tell you how much she weighs also, because I think weight is a good measure of quality in a lot of cases. Heavier plastic just tends to be better quality. 1.87 ounces. So she's got a good feel to her. She doesn't feel like light garbage. Like, she doesn't feel like a model kit, for sure. Okay, so let's go right back to articulation. And this is where she suffers a bit. So the head is on a nice ball joint, so it does swivel like you'd want it to. Okay, be careful with the ears. They're not meant to articulate. Don't try to, otherwise you're going to break it. Now, talking about the ponytail, this just does not fit in. Very poorly designed here. This just doesn't, this peg is not it's not large enough to fit the kind of recess inside here. And that recess is really bored in there, so you can't even reach it because of the way they hollowed it out. So it just doesn't work. And it's very, very frustrating when you try to get her wings on and all that stuff. So very finicky, very unpleasant to deal with. Be aware of that. Okay, so continuing, let's just go to a kind of like chest section. I think that's very nicely done. You do get a nice ball joint in there. Okay. You do get a nice ball joint in there. And her arms, they do come with a butterfly joint. And you do have a swivel on them. They go up and down. You do get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Wrists, fairly poorly done. Just very kind of stubby swivel in there. And almost, well, it essentially is non-functional. Just because of how tiny that is. Tiny and very kind of like gummy. So very poorly designed. The wrist essentially just rotates. The swivel is essentially useless. Very poorly done there. So can't deny that. Unfortunate, but it just shows like they had the kind of like, they definitely, I'm not going to say they kind of cheaped out on this figure. They didn't pay attention to some parts that people who articulate their figures would actually care about. So that's a shame. This kind of lower waist joint, also very poorly done. And I'll just show you. It pops out at the lightest touch. So essentially non-functional. Very easy to fix that. So I mean, like, it's like, it doesn't have to be like this, but that's the route they went. So this pops out way too easily. Thankfully, that upper diaphragm joint is very functional. So that's very nicely done. It could have been so much better if the lower one was the same, but just moving along. So legs, just a ball joint in there. It works, and it works very well. Legs come up, no problem. Very nice thigh swivel. Very nicely done double jointed knees. Let me see. Okay, and coming back to the high heeled issue, these are always just annoying to deal with. Don't ever just stick a peg straight down vertically into a foot. Like that's just ridiculous. That's not how a foot works. So essentially all you can really do is just turn it like that. Like I said, you could get the effect of an ankle rocker, but it's going to take a lot of finagling. And, you know, the more finagling you have to do with the figure, the chances of it breaking are higher. So, see, it doesn't want to use that ankle rocker because there is none. And high heels are not an excuse. If you saw my review of that Rosato figure, kind of that Cyborg Fox one, excellently done. And their solution was so simple, too. They just used nice big ball joints, and they were just so fun to play with. So I hate when figures with the high heels they just give up on the ankles, and it's just, you need a stand. And if a figure needs a stand to kind of like stand upright, I consider that like just poorly designed. I think every figure should be able to stand without a kind of like a display stand. Okay, but anyway, and her legs go back not too much, just because of the sculpting. Yeah, it's not going to go back much. That's about it for articulation. But I do need to show you, because this is technically a part of her, the wings. So very big problem with the wings, and it could just be mine. And you know, okay, it's not a huge problem, but it is very annoying. This kind of like joint that pegs into her back, extremely loose, and this wing is very heavy. The other wing is fine, this one not so much. So this peg is very loose, and it tends to just kind of go flippity floppity when you get her up on the stand. So that's unfortunate. Okay, so lots of kind of finicky points on her, and that's very unfortunate because the figure itself is pretty good. So in terms of her overall articulation rating, just overall kind of build quality, it's going to be a 3.5. The figure itself is pretty okay, but the joints in some areas are just egregiously poor. Just like the wrists, terrible. They're just essentially non-functional. They just rotate. This just flies out, a non-functional joint. Ponytail, extremely poorly done. I'm not sure why they designed it like that. You could have just filled that in with more plastic instead of recessing it out so much and just have it peg in nice and firmly. Not a big thing to kind of get done, but it's unfortunate because it's not cheap, so we're allowed to gripe about it. She's like $70+. So ankles poorly done like usual with companies that don't know how to do ankles on high heels. So articulation gets a 3.5. I think that's fair. Okay, so going on to accessories. Now I will just get right into it. So this kind of bow tie on her back. That's an accessory, very nicely done, just pegged straight in. Very nice translucent plastic. Ponytail, I guess, is an accessory. We already talked about that. She does come with little armor pieces for her thigh. Gundam is replacing one of them for me just because it doesn't fit in properly. Just get this out. And underneath is very nice, kind of like metallic plastic. Now, they do give you two pairs of thigh pieces here. I'll show you this one. This one is designed to kind of stick out more, so be careful. Don't think it's like broken or anything. It's meant to stick out. And doing this on camera is a little tricky. Just do it over here for a second. And yeah, I really like this one. So this one's designed to kind of jut out a little bit so you can see like kind of like that cool insect type inner metallic stuff inside. So that's really cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it out. Let's put this one back in. So those go in and out, no problem. And let's just take a look at our other accessories. So obviously the wings, it's extremely hard to just do on camera. So I'll just show you pictures of what she looks like with the wings and all that. So she comes with this really cool looking staff. Okay. Again, nice translucent plastic on that. Very cool. She just come with this kind of like guitar / violin. Very nice. She does come with like those kind of insect feet parts when she's up in the air. Also very cool. And like I showed you before, she does come with the kind of thigh pieces. So two pairs of these. One that's designed to stick out, one that just sits flush. Okay, and let's just go over alternate faces since I just have those here. Very cleanly done faces. That's just sharp as hell. So that looks really good. Very nicely done. And if you don't get the pre-order, yeah, I think it looks great either way. Like those eyes she comes with still has a very nice shimmer to it. You get that face. You get this one right here. Very, very kind of like animated faces. Very nicely done. Sometimes you get like some weird looking faces, ones that just look kind of off. These ones all look pretty cool. Okay, you do get this kind of like violin bow, I guess. Is that what they call it? So she does get that. Also very cool. And just so you get a closer look at the wings. It does come with a very annoying plastic wrap around it, and it was just a complete pain in the ass to get them off. Not sure why they did that, but very frustrating. And I had to use like a little Gundam nipper to get it out. If you don't care about the plastic, just leave it in there, but it does kind of ruin the look of it because it's meant to really shine. I'm not sure why they put that annoying plastic wrap, just an FYI when you buy it, because it's a bitch to take off. Okay. And she does come with this kind of like weird back piece here. So be aware of that also. And that you'd see in the pictures where she's up in the air. Let me see here. She does come with this kind of tool to like rotate her eyeballs however you like. So that's a very common thing on these kind of anime figures these days. It does come with a nice stand, huge stand. So pretty solidly made, I'd say. And that's about it for accessories and the hands. We'll just go through them quickly. It does get a pair of like kind of pointing hands here. Or better yet, I'll just show you all the hands in one go. And the two that she already has on her. Okay, so pretty decent, varied set of hands here for holding the kind of weapon she has, pointing, kind of like a rocker hand here. So pretty nice set there. So in terms of accessories, she's going to get a 4.2. So while the accessories that she comes with are pretty good, can't look past like kind of like the poor quality control, like the ponytail just can't stay on. The wings being loose as they are, the plastic wrap that was just embedded in them, very annoying stuff. So be aware of that if you buy her. So 4.2 I think is very fair. They were generous with the accessories, but got to work on like the QC and avoid doing annoying things like plastic saran wrapping the wings, like, and really wedging it in there, because that's just ridiculous. Yeah, so 4.2 there. Now, in terms of overall value, let's just keep her here. So overall value, she was like $70. She's definitely a premium figure. Like, she does not have like that cheap. She has like that nice satin finish throughout. Definitely a premium figure. So I'd say overall value, I'd still say 4.6. It would have been a lower score, but $70 is pretty cheap for a $7-inch figure that's got this kind of like very nice satin finish. Pretty solid figure without the wings and all that. So I'm still happy I got her. I'm still very happy with it. So that brings her overall rating to 4.22. Using my weighted average, more emphasis on the overall build quality. So yeah, that's my review. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. You could still get her on Gundam as of me filming this. She's still in stock on Gundam. So if you want to get her, definitely get her there. Gundam is great, especially they have no qualms replacing parts, provided you didn't manhandle a figure or anything like that. So I pretty much buy most of my figures from Gundam. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.